is an old Xbox 360 one. Should I just get a new motherboard too? Any advice, super appreciated.
Aha, you came to the right place, my man. I used to do a panel on making your own arcade sticks for 5 years at Anime Convention. So thing one, you asked if you should replace the PCB. Yes. I'm not entirely familiar with that model of stick, but that looks like it's jank as hell, and it's probably using a jank-ass huge PCB. I personally suggest Brook PCBs. You can go really cheap and get a $25 one that works basically with old consoles and PCs. Or if you got some pocket change to burn through, you could just get a Universal Fighting board, and that works with most consoles. PS5's a bitch to get working, though. The great thing about these boards is that they're just screw-in, no soldering required. Now those buttons, I'm not entirely sure. It looks like they could be Sanwas. A lot of cheap Xbox 360 sticks back in the day did actually have Sanwa buttons in them. So you might just be able to reuse them. But the two biggest names when it comes to buttons for arcade sticks are Sanwa and Seimitsu. Sanwa buttons are what most pre-made sticks have, like the Hori stick. They're very light and they have a hair trigger. Any small tap will make them go off. Seimitsu's are just as sensitive, but they have a bit more of a noticeable press, like a light key tap. There's lots of different models. If you really want to splurge, you can get light-up buttons or buttons that are silent, but really any Sanwa or Seimitsu button will do. You could also get those clicky, plungery buttons that you see on American arcades, but take my advice, don't. Since you already have a shell, that shell is probably already up to spec for snap-on buttons, so I'd suggest getting snap-on buttons if you replace any. You can just push them into the slot and they'll snap in. You get screw-ons if you want, but they're a little bit more expensive and honestly they're not needed. As for the joystick, I recommend the Sanwa JLF. That being said, shells from that era have a problem with the JLF. Budget shells like the one you have don't actually have enough clearance for a stock JLF stick. And that usually ends up creating a problem where the stick can get stuck because the bottom will rub against the bottom of the shell. I actually have a PS3 fight stick that looks just like that has the same problem. That might be why you're getting problems with down-to-up motion. If that is the case, there's no easy fix other than literally lowering the bottom of the shell. And that is not that easy to do. Honestly, I just take the whole bottom off and leave it off, possibly get a new bottom if it bothers you. A friend of mine fixed his problem by actually dremeling away the metal to allow his stick to have more clearance, but that is a lot of work. Oh, and once again, all of these buttons and the stick, they're all just snap-on wire. No soldering required. Finally, you're going to have to choose what gate you want for your stick. That basically restricts your stick's movement, and the most popular ones are square and octagonal gate. If you're a weirdo, you could get a circular gate. Don't be a weirdo. I personally prefer square gates. I think it helps me hit DPs easier, but whether you want square or octo, that's up to you. Anyway, that's my advice. Hit me up on Discord if you want me to walk through how to build it.